Hey everybody, Patty Ann here. Welcome. Gonna wait for a few minutes for some people to get notified that we went live. How many of you out there are doing the table runner that I'm going to show today? Again, maybe you were here on Saturday when Rachel and I were at the Beginnings Quilt Shop here in town, and she was showing us how to pick out some fabrics for our table runners. This is the table runner I'm talking about in case you're not familiar with it. Hey, Shannon, I'm waving back to you in Wisconsin. Hey, Karen and Denise and Carol and Shannon again. Welcome, you guys. Glad to have you here. And I like using this format, and I hope I don't get bumped offline again. But what's nice about this one is I can see the comments, and usually I can't. So just give a couple more minutes. I have some good tips today. I've learned these from my buddy Rachel, who works at that quilt shop we were at on Saturday. I think I told you that I used to work there as well. So she's taught me how to do embroidery, and that was years and years ago. So how y'all doing? I have it, but need to finish my quilt. Oh, hey, Celeste. What quilt are you working on, Shannon? Oh, wait, Tammy's texting me. Okay. Hey, Rosemarie. Checking in from Niceville, Florida. Hey, Jesse, good to see you again. Okay, we're just about ready to get started. As I said, this is the table runner that we're working on. Oh, the Kimber Bell quilt. Oh, okay. I've made some of those pillows, those really long pillows, but I haven't done any of her or their patterns recently. But this is the one we're going to be doing starting today. My plan today is to give you some tips on how to get organized, and also to show you maybe a few things that might be confusing in the cutting directions. And then I'm just going to cut out my snowman number 5, because if you'll notice, I'm ahead of you guys a little bit because I have to be ahead so I can keep up with doing the, thanks, Sean, so I can keep up with the videos as well. So there's one of the snowmen, and there's a second one. The one with the top hat so far is my favorite. This one's my favorite so far. And then there's this one. So obviously you can see I've done 4 of them already. So I'm ready to do the 5th one today. And that's the one I'm going to show cutting out the fabric for. Let's see. I have some notes to myself. Okay, so don't forget, this is a design by JuJu, Designs by JuJu pattern, and you can purchase it there on their website. You get a big instruction packet like this when you purchase, and I think you may have seen Rachel on Saturday. She showed that she didn't print hers out as large as I did, but I knew I was going to be live with you guys, and I didn't want to have to struggle to read what I was trying to talk about. So I made mine pretty big. Thanks, Carol. Okay. Yeah, I like the top hat one too, Rosemary. Okay. Anyway, you get this big old printout, and I've decided, oh, you have it in the shopping cart. Good, Celeste. I've decided I'm doing the 5x7 one because I'm just going to use my little PE 770 that I have over here. I have a larger embroidery machine back behind this wall, back there. But I really like using this one because it's so convenient right here, especially when I'm trying to show you guys stuff. So I'm going to do the 5x7 one. So I'm going to change my screen for just a second, or my camera, so I can show you down here. Okay, so here's what I'm talking about. When you get the package of materials, right, you're going to get a whole bunch of sheets, and it's going to start looking like this. And I don't know, I'm actually doing this for people that are new. Those of you who have been doing this for years, you know how to do this. But if you're a newbie, sometimes these things get really confusing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go with the 5x7 size hoop. Everything that I need to cut will be in this column. If I was doing the 6x10 size hoop, everything I need to cut would be in this column. So I'm going to have you look again at something at my screen. Let's see, video file, share screen. Okay. So if you look right here, you can see, I hope, on the right-hand side, you can see where I have my snowman or my runner. the picture from the Design by JuJu website. And up here, I just put a copy of the PDF file. So what I wanted to show you really up close was, again, the supply list. They say fabrics, obviously, batting. And Joan just texted me from Joann's or somewhere and said, what kind of batting should I use? So I use just a really, really thin batting, a thin cotton batting. You could even use felt if you want to, if that's readily available. You'll use cutaway stabilizer, which is what I used. SF101. I did not use that, and you'll see that being used in the directions. I did not need to use it in mine, and none of my little blocks got bunched up or wrinkly or anything, because I use a product called Material Magic. I don't know if you can see any of this jazz, but I use this stuff on my fabric. Okay, so anyway, I've already done some of these blocks, but again, for the top and bottom border blocks, just so you know what those are, top and bottom border, those are these red blocks. So notice it says you're supposed to, of batting, cut 10, and the batting should be 4 3/4 by 2.5. And then you're supposed to cut the background fabric, cut 10 of those, 6 1/4 by 4. So that's these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, and for the side border blocks, there's only 2. 1, 2. You're going to cut the batting, cut 2 of those, obviously, in your 5 by 7 size, if that's the one you selected, and cut your background fabric, which is the red again, for me, and I'm going to cut 2 of those right here. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing this so I can go back and show you what I have so far. So I've been working, as I said. Do they provide the SVG file to be? No, they don't, Denise. We could probably figure out, did I go blurry? Oh, sorry. We could probably figure out how to do it, because especially if you use, you can do it in Embroidery totally, but I like to work in Silhouette software also to do my little cutting pieces. But honestly, I just trim mine with scissors this time. But what I wanted to show you was I've already started cutting mine out. And this is a sneaky trick that Rachel has shown me. I'm going to add Tammy to my stream in here. Here we go. Hey. All right. So I've already started cutting mine. So this one I label when I get baggies, because this really helps me. I don't know about you guys, but looking at all of these directions like this and the page before, well, no, those 2 pages could really drive me nuts. It just boggles my mind. So it really helps me when I first start out. I just go through and cut out all of the blocks to begin with. So these are all my top and bottom border blocks. Remember which ones those were? The top and bottom border, are these ones right here. Okay, so I cut all those out and I cut the batting, and I don't have to think anymore. This thing's ready to go. Done with that, ready to go when I'm ready. Here are the side border blocks. And I really like doing this. I think it really helps a lot. Okay, let's see. And then there's the left facing tree blocks, and there's right facing tree blocks. So you might be wondering what they're talking about. Let's see if I can get this in line. So you can see this one's kind of curving to the right. This one's curving to the left. So that's all they're talking about. So they're not all going, the same way. They kind of alternated them so it looked better. Okay. So those are my tree blocks. And this is for snowman number 5. I haven't finished him yet. I'm going to cut him right now or in a moment or two, as soon as I go through a few more things. This is my snowflake border blocks, and these are the little blocks that are right here. And you can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them on the bottom, and 6 on the top. I haven't cut those out yet. I just threw the fabric in here, but I feel like I'm ready to go. And there's the size batting I need for those blocks. So this just really makes me feel good to be able to have it like this. All I got was some generic freezer bags, some gallon size. And okay, and for the cutaway stabilizer, if you're new and you're, wondering, all I do with my cutaway is roll it out a little bit, put my hoop on here, and where Oh dear, if I have misplaced my cutter, I'm in trouble, you guys. Oh heavens. Oh no, there it is. All right, so I use a rotary cutter a lot. So all I would do is just kind of cut like that. And this one's ready to go. Okay. I really like using this little quilter's cut and press because on the other side, I can iron my fabric if I need to. And I accidentally ironed something that had sublimation stuff on it here. That's why you see some darkness. Anyway, okay. So there's that. And I can get all these things out of the way because all I wanted to do today was to show you how to go through one of these things and how to cut it. So this is, again, my snowman block. I have everything I need in here. And I need to get my directions out. So if you have your instructions, all you would do is turn to snowman block number 5. Whoa. Sorry, you guys. I don't know. Where's my camera? There it is. Snowman block number 5. Okay. So you know, again, I'm doing the 5x7 hoop. So the first thing I needed to do was to cut my batting 4 1/4 by 7 1/2. And my top background fabric 5 1/4 by 7 1/4. So I'm just following down this column right here. Okay. Well, I've already cut those two things. This is my background fabric. This is the fabric that you'll notice is behind every one of my snowmen. This is the one I like to put the Terrial Magic on, this spray, because it makes it a little bit stiffer. This stuff's not cheap, but it lasts forever. This was like $15 for this little thing, but it lasts for a really, really long time. And it makes your fabric really nice so it doesn't get puckery or wrinkly. And I've also already cut my batting because I figured you guys could probably read that and understand all this. Okay, the next thing it says for me to do is to cut my snow fabric 5 1/4 by 2 1/2. So my snow fabric is a little bit different than my snowman fabric. My snowman fabric, you probably can't see it very well, but it's got little white there. Maybe you can see tiny little bit there now. Little white pieces. This is my snowman fabric. And this one right here is my snow. And no, you can't see that at all. But if you were to see it from my vantage point, you could see that there were little snowflakes all over it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut that. And again, it tells me right here to cut my snow fabric 5 1/4 by 2 1/2. So all I'm going to do is I do use this mat because this is not like I'm doing a quilt that has to be so terribly accurate that sometimes people say not to use your mat. But I use my mat for this a lot. I'm going to say, what did I say? It was 2 1/4. So I'm going to put this here 0, 1, 2. I'm going to go to 2 1/4. So right there's 2, 2 1/4, 2 1/4. All I do is just slice this up like this, remembering to keep my fingers out of the way. There's 2 1/4, and the directions say to do it 2 1/4 by, no, tag gum, you guys. I messed up. Who was yelling at me out there? Anybody? It was supposed to be 2 1/2. Oh my. Did anybody yell? Y'all better keep me on my toes.
I don't hear nobody.
So it's got to be 2 1/2. 2 1/2. Okay, 2 1/2 by 5 1/4. So now I'm going to go all the way over to the 5 and the 5 1/4. And make sure I get this lined up with those lines and just cut it like that. So this piece I don't need. I'm going to throw it away or put it away somewhere. This piece, so I don't get messed up, I'm going to go ahead and put it in my baggie because I know that goes with snowman block number 5. And again, I just love to have all this ready to go. So when I'm ready to start stitching, I'm ready to start stitching. I don't have to keep interrupting myself and getting confused like I just did. All right, so that was that one. So the next one says, that was the snow fabric. The next one is the snowman fabric. And again, I'm going over to the 5x7 hoop. Snowman fabric is 3 1/4 by 4. So sometimes instead of doing that 1/4 of an inch, I just say 3.5 by 4. I round it up because sometimes thinking of all these little quarters and blah, blah, blah gets me nuts. So I'm just going to do 3.5 by 4. So again, I just take this fabric, and this is my snowman fabric, and it's got to be 3.5 by 4. So I'm going to make this 3.5, and then I'll cut a 4-inch piece. So 3.5, lining this up, making sure that this line on the ruler is straight with this line, because then I'll know I'm making a nice straight thing. So I want to do 3.5, nice straight cut by 4. So there's 3.5. And then the next thing I'm going to do, I could have, what I should have done, y'all? I shouldn't have told you I messed up that. You probably wouldn't have known, right? I could have just gone on my merry way. Oh, well. And I would have put it in that bag and then messed up later. So anyway, 3.5 by 4. I better check. In my case, I got to read 5 times and cut once. Snowman fabric, 3.5 by 4. Yes. Okay. 3.5 by 4. So again, I'll just stick that in the baggie so I don't get confused. That's ready to go.
Heidi wants to know, do you ever fold your paper?
For my snowman, I'm on block number 5. The scarf fabric is 2 3/4 by 2.5. So I'll just do 3 by 2.5. And I decided to use this, and I found a really good scrap, right? Look at that. 3 by 2.5. So the first thing I might like to do on this piece right here, if you can, I don't know if you can see or not. Do you ever fold your paper to hide the measurements you aren't using? Huh. That's a good idea. You mean like this? Hey, who was that? Heidi? Did you say Heidi?
Yeah, Heidi.
That was a good idea. I never did that. Looky, looky, looky. I could do this, right? Just fold that up like that. Hey, that's a good idea, especially for those of us who do get confused easily. Look, Heidi had a good suggestion. Hide those other dimensions. I don't even need to see them to mess me up. Thanks. So, okay. So now, where was I? I was on block number 5, snowman scarf fabric. I'm going to do 3 by 2.5. So if I want to, the first thing I could do is kind of straighten this side. I don't know if you can see how wonky that is, because this was truly a scrap. I save some scraps a lot of times. Are your fabric starch? These, usually I press them really well first. And for my regular starch, I like to use this because I love the smell of it. But if it's one that I need to have, and it's cheap, this one's cheap compared to the other stuff. But if it's something I need to have really stiff, then I'll use the Material Magic. But yeah, it's best to starch your fabrics first. Iron them and starch them, press them and starch them. So I'm just going to make a nice straight edge here. Oops, sort of straight. And then I'm going to cut this piece 3 by 2.5. So I think I'll go 2.5 like this. So I'm going to the 0, 1, 2.5. Whoops. 2.5. There we go. Lining everything up nicely. And again, this is pretty forgiving. You don't have to be like crazy accurate. But 3.5 by, no. What was it? My scarf is 3 by 2.5. So I need to make this 3 inches now for my scarf. So we're almost all done. So this is what you're going to be doing. And I'll look at my schedule to see what time or what day we'll come back next. So hopefully you'll have all of your pieces cut out. I think I had a few more things I wanted to tell you about on my little list here. Okay, the next one. So I put that in there. Get rid of these. They don't confuse me. The next thing is the hat fabric. And I used the same thing. The hat fabric is 3 by 3. You're welcome, Heidi. Thank you for sharing your tip. Okay, that one's got to be 3 by 3, and I probably threw that on the floor. All right, here's the piece I'm going to use now for the hat. It's going to be 3 by 3. So see, I didn't iron this one first. Ordinarily, I would have all these ironed flat, but I don't think I'll even have to go into that part since I'm going to do 3 by 3. So just cut 3, and this is the top part of his hat by 3. So again, put this in my snowman block number 5. And I think I only have one more thing to do. Oh, no, the hat top fabric. So there's a little bit of a black top knot on this last guy. So I needed a piece of black. So I just took out this black that I'd used for the hat. I think it was for the top hat snowman. And it says 1.5. Well, guess what? I'm just going to do like this. Probably not a good thing to show, but I'm just going to do that 2 by 2 because it has to be a 1.5 by 1.5. And you know what? It's a little bigger. That's good. And the last thing I have to do then is this one. And this is again for snowman number 5, the nose fabric. Not all of these will have fabric for the nose. Some of them will just be stitching. But this one does have nose fabric, and it says it's 1.25 by 1. So I'm really going to just do, and I had a piece before that I cut. I see it up here on my desk. What was it? 1.25 by 1. So this piece is already 1.5. So I'll just give it a 1.5 by 1.5. There we go. Put this in here. So there's my block 5 snowman all ready to go. No, we were thinking about selling the kits, but there's just so many little scraps that you use. You guys could probably find scraps easily around your house. I think that, you wouldn't have to buy, because the quilt shop where I worked, Todd only allows us to do, what is this, 1/8 of a yard? But look how much waste there is of this, because I really just used a few little pieces of it. So it's kind of crazy. If you have scraps, you should just use your scraps. Okay. I did buy extra of the red because I love red. And I always buy extra white because I like, yes, there are differences. There are 2 different kinds of fabric I use for the white. Oh, and remember when Rachel showed us hers? Just let me remind you. When she did her snow down here, she used like a shiny fabric. Mine are both cotton. They just are a batik or a white on white fabric, but they're not shiny like hers was, and I really liked how shiny it was. As for these 2 fabrics, yes, this one right here, the Material Magic, this is the one. Matter of fact, I'll turn on my iron while I'm sitting here talking. I'll show you the difference. Okay, let me get a little piece of fabric. Okay, so I have 2 pieces of fabric, right? So one of them I'm going to treat with Material Magic, and I'll do that, I think, over here on this board. You won't see me, but okay, that one I treated with Material Magic, and this one I'm going to treat with this, just regular spray starch, and you'll see the difference in the 2 of them after I iron them and I show them back to you. Hopefully it'll be really amazing. All right, let's see. What else did I want to tell you guys about? Seems like there were some other directions that were a little bit funky. Okay, so where was it? There was, hang on one second. Okay, so on the snowflake border blocks, I'm not really sure. I hope you can see that. Snowflake border blocks, and those are the little blocks that are black. Okay. It says right here, cut 2, batting, cut 12. I think that must be a typo. I don't think that 2 should be there at all. I think you needed to just type 12. I mean, just cut 12 batting and 12 of the fabric. And there was one other typo in here. And if you come across it while you're doing it, you can always email me or ask in our little Facebook group that we have. We have a tiny little Facebook group for embroidery and sewing with Patty Ann. Also, I think that all of these background pieces, this piece right here, the big piece that goes behind the snowman, all of them should be exactly the same size. There is one that's a different size, and I think that might be a typo as well. All right, let's see if my iron has heated up. And I'm going to iron these and bring them back. It is. Watch, they'll probably both look the same. I guess I could put on my other camera, but that's okay. Can't be there in 1 sec. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Okay, so they're both pretty much done. And here's the difference. This one is the one I sprayed with Material Magic. You see that? It's like paper now. I don't know if you can hear that.
Yes.
It's like paper. It really stabilizes it. Whereas this one is the one that's a little stiffer than it was, but it was done with the just the spray starch. So it's starched, but it's not like this. You see the difference? And watch, I'll go ahead and put some Churro Magic on this one and you'll see it change. Where are you? Churro Magic, here it is. And so it's a good thing to use when you're, especially if you're doing a lot of heavy embroidery. And if you watch other tutorials, you'll see other people saying to use this product as well. So let me iron this one and I'll show you now. This one's going to be just like the other one. Okay. Let me look at my notes for 1 second. Let's see. Okay, see? Now this one will stand straight out just like this. And recall before, here's another piece of it, I think. Yeah. Before it was like this, and now it's this. So that's the difference in those two. Oh, I hope I didn't take these. I didn't, because I have everything hidden from myself in bags, right? So I can't mess myself up. All right, let's see. So what I was thinking was Wednesday, let me turn my camera on this one. My buddy Rachel's going to be available again. Let's see. Whoopsie. And maybe you remember I said that she has her own studio where she does long arming. So we're thinking about going down there and having our next live there. So that would be Wednesday around 3 o'clock as well, where we would stitch out some snowmen just to hang out with you guys and stitch some stuff and maybe talk. You guys can let us know if you have any questions. As I said, Rachel taught me, so she would even know more than I if you think I know something. So let's see. So that would be on Wednesday. I hope that is correct. Let me double check. I believe that's what we are going to be on Wednesday.
It's what you had yesterday.
Rachel's studio in Western North Carolina, where she does long arming if you ever need any of that done. And we're going to stitch snowmen, I think. But I'm not positive because look at that mess. And I kept scribbling things and changing it, Xing things out. So I'm not positive this is the final one. But anyway, we'll hang out on Wednesday and do something. If you have your sewing machine nearby. Oh, I'm Eastern.
I'm Central, you Eastern.
I'm in North Carolina.
You're Eastern.
Yeah, Eastern. Let's see. So does anybody else have any questions or anything? Is this going to be helpful for you guys? Especially if you're newbie, I think maybe it will, because looking at this stuff is so scary when you're first starting out. But I think if you could get out, if you can at least get, your snowman block number 1 cut out, all the parts, just that even would be helpful. If you could do that and be ready to go with something either after you watch us or while you're watching us stitch with us. And, we can show you. So we're going to show step by step how to go through these. And once you do it once, it'll be like, I get it. That's easy. So anyway, yes, great, Heidi. Thank you. Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, thank you all for coming. If you have any other questions, let me know. Otherwise, I hope to see you on Wednesday. It's more fun when I can see you guys, at least your names, and you're talking live to me. Okay. I guess that's it. Bye, Tammy. Thank you for your help. See you guys.
The silent partner.